Welcome back, peeps. In today's video we will be going over the strategies and how to use each looted weapon you will find in the ground or in loot boxes in Warzone. We will talk about their attachments and how to excel while using that specific weapon. Today we will be going over the LMGs and SMGs. Alright, so let's start off with the LMGs. With the LMGs, there are two categories for that one. We've got the standard LMG and the silenced SMGs. Usually people do not carry LMGs in Warzone because they feel they are too heavy, they aim slow, and they take a little bit too long to reload. But the LMGs actually do have some strong points that if you do communicate with your teammates, you can actually excel and make this weapon insanely strong. So one of the strong points in the LMGs is they can take down opponents in just a few bullets, and they can destroy vehicles so fast without even reloading thanks to having insanely big clip sizes. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with this one. This is one of the LMGs that you will find in the game, which is the wrong turn. As you guys can see, it has the 10.2 barrel, it has the 3x optic, which will allow you to see just a bit further, and it has the 150 ammunition built. Usually the LMGs will have about 100 bullets in their magazine, but this one does have 150. So again, just with the LMGs, remember that you have to use that 150 bullet to your advantage. So to get the most out of your LMGs and become even a deadly savage out there, it takes planning and teamwork to make the LMG the most powerful weapon. What does this mean? This means always having somewhere to cover while you're reloading, that massive clip, and having your team provide cover, because if you run out of ammo with your LMG, it's going to take you quite a few seconds to get that LMG back into reload station and back into firing. So always communicate with your teammates when you're reloading, and always have somewhere to cover when you are reloading. Again, when you are reloaded, it means that you must fire a will and cover all your team because you have 100 bullets at your disposal. It's also crucial to have somewhere to mount the LMG. This will unlock its true potential. It is the only class that can take down a fully armored four-person squad down with one clip, well, and the launcher as well. So again, to unlock everything with the LMG, remember to mount your LMG, remember to communicate with your team, remember to always use cover while reloading because this will take forever, but remember, you always have the power to mow down a four-person squad in just a couple seconds. Never underestimate the power of the LMG. Now let's go ahead and jump into the silenced SMGs. So the LMGs are usually the loudest out of all the other classes, right, except the sniper. But LMGs, usually when you fire, people can hear you from all over the world. So having a silenced LMG makes you into a deadly silenced assassin. Imagine taking out a full squad and they don't even have any idea where you're coming from. It's obviously not the best gun or best class to stay healthy, but when you can find epic and legendary LMGs like the Echo LMG, which has 100 rounds, and the silencer, it is definitely deadly. The Echo LMG is the one I actually use with my sniper class in case I don't get my second loadout. So that Echo LMG is the one that comes, I believe, with the ACOG sight. It's some sort of ACOG scope, and it does have 100 mag. It has like the drum mag in it, and that just makes it insanely deadly. But yes, I do like to use my sniper with an LMG. Again, I just love to spray and hold the trigger and do not let go until my 100 bullets have run out. Now, let's jump into the SMGs. When it comes to the SMGs, the speed is the most important. The kind of SMGs that you will find in the ground will reload fast, fire fast, and take down enemies fast if you are close. Alright? So, when you even run at about the same speed with an SMG compared to a sidearm. They have done these tests a couple of times, so even though if you have an SMG on you, you'll run at about the same speed compared to the sidearm and the shotgun. The standard common SMG we'll find in Warzone will down an enemy in 4 to 6 shots with no armor, but anything after 10 meters, it becomes around a 5 to 6 shot to down somebody. And if you're even further than 10 meters, forget it. You're better off shooting an airsoft gun to hit your target. Alright, next up we're going to have the long range SMG. This variant of SMG is in between an SMG and an assault rifle. This one is called High Octane, but with this SMG, you will be able to down enemies in 4 shots at even further range than the usual SMGs. This is thanks to the 5.56 NATO rounds that the gun is packing. As you guys can see in the bottom of the screen, you can see the ammunition slapped to this weapon. This is the rounds found in the assault rifles. I've used this gun in multiplayer and it definitely shreds peeps. But it does still grab ammo from the SMG and handgun ammo pool. That is a question that a lot of people have been asking. So even though if you have the long range SMG, it will still use SMG ammo. That being said, if you're a guy that prefers ARs and you do find this weapon and don't have an AR, don't be afraid to grab this gun and try it out and give it a little bit of a test, because this gun is definitely really good. As you guys can see, it does have the monolithic suppressor, which will give it increased range. It has the optic, increased range. It has assault rifle ammo, which will give it again increased range. It has a sleight of hand perk and the under barrel commando foregrip for an increased stability. Now let's go ahead into the silenced SMGs. Now the silenced SMGs, as you guys can see here, this was one of the more common SMGs. You can find the P90s, you can find the MP7, but the silenced SMGs, again, this gun is definitely meant for the stealthy and deadly players. SMGs are pretty hard to hear even without the silencer, so if you do find an SMG that has a silencer, you will be virtually unheard of. The SMGs have various subclasses. For example, some will have their range cut short, but will give you an increased speed. The others will have increased range but will be bulkier when you have equipped them. So what does this mean? This means that if you have a shorter SMG, you will be able to run faster, aim faster, and shoot a lot faster. But the range will be a little bit less. So if you have a bulkier SMG, what is this going to mean? This means that you're going to be able to run slower, aim slower, but you will pack a bigger punch. So remember, when you are using a silenced SMG, just always remember to assign this weapon to somebody. Since this is a stealthy weapon, you might want to designate a player that flanks, uses dead silence, and crouch walk, because remember, they can hear you running from the other side of the map. So always remember, if you are using the silenced SMG, use silence to your advantage and try to make your enemy not hear you when you're getting close to them. Now, next up, let's go ahead and jump into one of my favorites, which is the thermal SMGs. Honestly, this is one of my favorites guns because this is one of the more unique SMGs that you can find in the ground. So this is one, it has a silencer, it has an NVG optic. As you guys can see, the NVG optic is the thermal, but not the black and white. It is kind of like the greenish looking one that lights up players like the sun. It's kind of like a heat-based temperature scope gun. It has the stock, it has an underbarrel, which is the tactical foregrip, and it has the 10mm 30 round mag, which is just a little bit higher than the 10mm, so it'll get you a little bit more damage. So this scope is crucial in a game like this, where people try to hide in their surroundings, like windows and trees and everything that has leaves, and they try to hide in it. So with a weapon like this, if they don't have cold-blooded, they are basically headless chickens running in the open. Now, this is something that you also need to communicate with your squad. Once you spot them with this gun, you're going to go ahead and let your teammates know where they are. Again, if you guys didn't know, this class does have a small hipfire spread, so don't need to aim down sights if you're a couple meters away from the enemy. Do not be afraid to fire at will. Now, next up, this is it in the video. Those were all the SMGs again. And LMGs that are in the ground. There is a couple more, like maybe a couple more variants, but I did go pretty much through the most important classes. Again, use the thermal SMG like this one right here. It is definitely a must use, never underestimated. Silenced SMGs, remember to always use a silent class and do not run when you're going near the objective. You are barely unheard of if you shoot with this gun. Remember, with the AUG, with the high octane, with the long range SMGs, don't be afraid to try them out if you like assault rifles. With the SMGs class, just remember, sometimes if they're really far away, just always try and force your enemies into close quarter combat. And with this one, with the LMGs, just remember as well, never underestimate an LMG or a silenced LMG. They can mow your squad down. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I deeply appreciate that. If you guys got any comments, please put them down below in the comment section. Like the video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one.